That's how we all die.
You can please tell people that it was a fair fight and see what the jury and judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence, and
yes.
it's a fair fight. And see how many people believe or side with you.
It doesn't matter if it's a fair fight. My ass.
Exactly, because you're bigger and you're stronger. And so when I say that I thought you could kill me, that doesn't mean you counter with you also that you lost your own finger. I am not trying to attack you here. I'm just trying to point out the fact of why I said call 911. Because you had your hands on me after you threw a phone in my face, and it got crazy in the past, and I truly thought I need to stop this madness before I get hurt.
Oh my God.
And I never think about myself that way. I never defend myself that way. I never see myself as a victim. It's to a fault,
All right, yeah.
Tell the world that I, Johnny Depp, am a victim and see how many people believe or side with you. That, much like everything else we've heard over the past week, just paints a completely different and more disturbing picture than the one she wanted. And then you can almost hear her trying to convince herself and honestly seemingly remind herself of what she claimed happened that night, even though she tells on herself a little when she says, before I got hurt, but according to her perjurious testimony, she was already hurt. It just sounds really bizarre, doesn't it? When Johnny realizes this, he says, oh my God, as if to say, oh my God, she really does believe this is what happened. Then, as she continues to boast about never seeing herself as a victim, you can almost picture his eyes roll as he throws his hands up with, all right, yeah, like, whatever you say, Amber. It's so strange hearing the gears turn in real time in her head.
It's not about that. It would not be about me throwing you under the bus. You know what it would be? It would be released through documented people coming on the record and having the protection to do so that haven't had yet. It would be eyewitness statements. It would be evidence, tons of it, and it would be through years. And it would be unbelievable to imagine that either I'm in a secret fake club, or B, I've had
a secret what?
I've had a secret fight club, or that I have been plotting to do this for 3 years, and while taking pictures of it and documenting it, just saving it up for the right time when I'm not asking for any money and have nothing financial to gain from it. That no one is going to believe that. No one is going to believe that one of the two alternatives, either I'm in a fight club, or I've been going through hair and makeup, or going through makeup through all these years, where I have corroborating text messages between people that match those dates of those timestamp validated photos of either corroboration between people hearing us, or corroboration of next day, Whitney sending text message to Kevin, him responding, or, the kind of stuff like between me and people in your life. It is insanely cross-corroborated than it is a plan. I'm going to put makeup on myself and take pictures throughout years and just sit on it for years. While having this imaginary life run parallel to it. Do you understand that the pictures I have match with text messages to my mom back and forth about it, and text messages between, say, Raquel and my mom, or Raquel and my dad, or, between my two friends.
Okay, first off, did she just say nobody is going to believe that she uses makeup to paint on bruises, then takes pictures, and finally texts her friends and family about them to make sure she has proper documentation? That is just scary. It sounds like a criminal mastermind monologuing their evil plan while the hero dangles over the shark pit. Look, I'll come back to this in a bit. Just chew on that for a second while Amber goes on to describe a specific event.
There's a text message where I tell Jody the night before I had that James Corden night show thing, where I say, hey, Jody, I've had an accident. I think I have a busted lip. I may have a busted nose and 2 black eyes tomorrow, because I don't know how bad it will be until the morning, and we may have to cancel. But the appearance, I don't know how. I'm icing it. I just, I'll let you know in the morning, you know, and things like that. It doesn't matter. There is nothing, and all of that won't be me throwing you under the bus. That will be evidence in this case, which it will be criminal as well, because I cannot go on Friday and file without filing a police statement first. And the only reason I haven't filed that police statement, which has been used against me, by the way, every day, and the only reason I won't do it, I haven't done it, is because I don't want to hurt you, and that means it goes out of my hands. And we had a third-party prosecutor come, and a criminal lawyer come, and they went, like, the problem is, hearing from you, like, your biggest struggle is that it's the most solid evidence case of domestic violence I've ever seen, and if you give this over to them or present any part of it, they will prosecute him. And I felt like I'm not, like, I would never want that for you. Because it's hard for me to even understand. I don't call myself, like, it's not in my head. It's hard for me to even accept any sort of victimdom ever. And
Amber, listen,
I don't want to hurt you.
I understand, and I don't want to hurt you either. I'm only going to say this. I love you. I love you. And I've always loved you. And I know that, look, you do whatever you feel you have to do. I'm telling you now, it's a mistake to go to court. But if you want to go to court, we'll go to court. I would rather take care of it a different way. I think it would be very good for you, and I think it would be very good for me. But you know what?
I've
Baby,
been called a liar,
baby,
and I've been called
baby,
a gold digger.
baby,
Everyone.
Amber, I didn't call you those things.
I don't want it to go. I didn't want any of it. I don't want it to be.
It's been going on too long, Amber. We just gotta stop this. Just gotta stop it.
I don't know how to get my reputation back.
This is the event I have covered with a fair amount of detail on this channel. She's talking about the incident on December 15th, 2015. I was actually in the middle of putting together an in-depth video about this particular incident when all this stuff started dropping, putting that on pause. Quick side note about that date, that was the day Amber found out she alone was going to be facing charges for smuggling her dogs into Australia and was potentially up against a large fine and jail time. Something tells me that she might not have been in the best mood that day, especially considering the man she liked to blame for everything wouldn't be facing charges with her. I'm going to be honest. I don't think Johnny has any idea what she's talking about here, and for a couple of reasons. One, it just didn't happen the way she claimed, and two, Johnny remembers that night very differently. He claims Amber attacked him that night, leaving him with these scratches and injuries to his face. He would then take her to dinner later that night while attempting to hide his injuries while Amber had no injuries. Amber says she feared for her life that night. She claimed she had several large chunks of hair pulled from her scalp while being dragged by her hair up and down stairs and across multiple condos. She claimed she got a busted lip, 2 black eyes, a nearly broken nose, all of it caused by a full bodyweight headbutt to the face and a flurry of punches and slaps from Johnny. Injuries and alleged swelling and misshapen features that would have been impossible to completely disguise with makeup. And if you want, you can go watch the clips from the show on YouTube. Here are some pictures from the show with 0 injuries and no apparent discomfort or fear of reopening the less-than-day-old wounds while she made exaggerated facial features. Numerous witnesses have come forward to testify that Amber lied and was completely uninjured the day following the alleged life-threatening assault, including the property manager, Kevin Murphy, and Amber's own stylist for the show, Samantha McMillan, who actually worked with Amber throughout the day when she was makeup-free and without injury. Does she have any witnesses? No. None have come forward to give testimony to support her claims, but she has pictures and text. You know, like when she said nobody will believe that she painted on injuries, then took pictures and made sure to text someone about it. In fact, Her stylist testified that at the end of the day, on December 16th, Amber told her friend Raquel to make sure to get those pictures onto my computer. Just a few days later, Amber would be spotted at a flea market and then took a trip to Johnny's Island soon after for a holiday getaway and a photo shoot, still uninjured. Johnny gives no credence to these allegations at all. He just tries to calm her and tells her he loves her. He then says for her to do whatever she has to do, clearly not shaken by the
evidence, tons of it.
She just tried to scare him with. Not to mention the biggest, most solid case of domestic violence the prosecutor had ever seen. Does anybody else see this as an intimidation tactic, considering what we know now and what they clearly knew then about who the aggressor and the abuser was in their relationship? Also, Johnny has maintained his innocence throughout, and he yet again, because she's bragging about all the evidence she has gathered and sat on for years waiting for the right time, tells her that if she wants to go to court, they'll go to court, seeming almost resolved that he doesn't have to tell her the amount of evidence and witnesses he has, but just that it will end badly.
Io called the cops. You told Io to call the cops.
I did not call the cops, and I did not give them any statement when they came. I've been trying to protect you.
You told Io to call the cops.
While it was happening?
Yeah.
Okay, briefly, they do discuss the cops being called on May 21st, 2016, while it was happening. And keep in mind that it, according to Amber, was that she was assaulted that night. You know, the whole story. The phone thrown at the face, the hair pulled, the repeated hits to the face. Johnny doesn't agree with this at all. In fact, this night in May, he claims he was standing across the room when Amber screamed while on the phone with her friend I.O. for Johnny to stop hitting her and to call 911. It, according to Johnny, was nothing but verbal after he had called Kevin Murphy, who was ultimately cussed and yelled at by Amber for telling Johnny the truth about Amber leaving poop in the bed a month prior after her April birthday party following another physical attack against Johnny.
Oh, I'm sorry, because the last time that it got crazy between us, I really did think I was going to lose my life, and I thought you would do it on accident. And I told you that. I said, oh my God, I thought the first time.
Amber, I lost a fucking finger, man. Come on. I had a can of mineral spirits thrown at my nose.
I think it's odd that it appears she's trying to convince him the last time things, quote, got crazy between them that she honestly did think she was going to lose her life. But the interesting part is that she's very vague. Something she tends to do when she knows that she physically assaulted him, even says it was him doing whatever he vaguely did on accident. My opinion, and again, not telling anyone what to think here, but I honestly believe that if Johnny ever had to defend himself, you know, push her away or off of him, which he has said he has had to do at times to escape, she sees that as him being abusive, and equally so. Even trying to convince him she once thought it would kill her on accident. Basically, she abused him, and if he ever defended himself, she would play it up as being just as bad as what she was doing, even informing him that he hurt her in doing so. This theory is supported by his response. Of course, he actually suffered injuries from her assaults, some of which hospitalizing him, like throwing a vodka bottle and slicing off the tip of his finger in Australia the previous year. That is an injury that caused him to contract MRSA on 3 separate occasions and actually could have cost him his life. He clearly is not okay with her comparing him defending himself to escape as being on the same level as the severe injuries that she very intentionally inflicted on him. And her response to him pointing out how she has violently injured him is chilling.
You can please tell people that it was a fair fight and see what the jury and judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence, and
yes.
It's a fair fight. And see how many people believe or side with you.
It doesn't matter if it's a fair fight. My ass.
Exactly, because you're bigger and you're stronger. And so when I say that I thought you could kill me, that doesn't mean you counter with you also that you lost your own finger. I am not trying to attack you here. I'm just trying to point out the fact of why I said call 911. Because you had your hands on me after you threw a phone at my face, and it got crazy in the past, and I truly thought I need to stop this madness before I get hurt.
Oh my God.
And I never think about myself that way. I never defend myself that way. I never see myself as a victim. It's to a fault,
All right. Yeah.
Tell the world that I, Johnny Depp, am a victim and see how many people believe or side with you? That, much like everything else we've heard over the past week, just paints a completely different and more disturbing picture than the one she wanted. And then you can almost hear her trying to convince herself and honestly seemingly remind herself of what she claimed happened that night, even though she tells on herself a little when she says, "before I got hurt," but according to her perjurious testimony, she was already hurt. It just sounds really bizarre, doesn't it? When Johnny realizes this, he says, "Oh my God," as if to say, "Oh my God, she really does believe this is what happened." Then, as she continues to boast about never seeing herself as a victim, you can almost picture his eyes roll as he throws his hands up with, all right, yeah, like, whatever you say, Amber." It's so strange hearing the gears turn in real time in her head.
Okay, listen.
Every step of the way.
Alright, listen, here's the...
Planted.
Alright, fine. You believe what you believe. I'm gonna call these people, I'm gonna take care of this, see what the fuck is going on. I'll get back to you. Otherwise, listen, as far as I can tell right now, it sounds like you want to go to court. And you want to fuck this up real bad.
I just want to clear my name. I've been telling all the lawyers this from the beginning, and your lawyers knew this.
You cannot clear up your name now.
Don't let them lie to you. Don't let them lie to you. I have said only this from the very beginning. I only have my integrity. And the unfortunate thing is
what about mine?
taking it a step further.
What about mine?
She seems to only care that her reputation might end up suffering from the truth getting out, so I guess the only solution was to keep trying to destroy Johnny and hopefully convince him that he is an abuser and to take the punishment in her place. It's the only option, right? He even tells her, "Fine, believe what you believe," and that they'll just go to court. After Amber gets angry about Johnny's security team giving a statement that she was the violent one in the relationship, she says that she accidentally recorded one of them, Jerry Judge, saying that he did not acknowledge any violence. She says they'll have to say that under oath before Johnny reminds her that she will have to do the same with her stories. So why not just come right out and ask if she really does believe all this? Well, that's exactly what he did.
You're gonna have to do this under oath too, you know.
I will, because the unfortunate part is, I can talk about all of this.
Do you believe all this, Amber? Do you believe all this?
Oh, yeah, the fuck out of yes.
You believe I'm an abuser. You believe I'm an abuser.
In May, in December, in April.
Do you believe you're an abuser? Do you believe you abused me physically?
Do I physically believe? I mean, do I believe I physically abused you?
Yes.
Do you know I'm 115? Well, not anymore, but I was 115 pounds. I'm a 115-pound woman, and you're going to say I have the capacity to abuse.
That's not the question. That's not the question.
Have I ever been able to knock you off of your feet?
You started.
Off your balance?
You started these things.
You're going to get up on the stand, Johnny, and say she started it? Really? I have never been able to overpower you. That's the difference between me and you.
Why did you try?
And that's the difference that the whole world and the jury and the judge will see, is that there is a very big difference between me and you.
Her shift in tone, at least to me, is so bone-chilling here. I really don't know how to describe it. The way she goes from frantic, vague yelling about why she thinks he is an abuser to absolute silence before cold and collected thoughts. She admits to trying to overpower him and knock him off his feet, saying it as if it was an actual goal, something that she would strive to achieve throughout her numerous physical onslaughts. And much like the previous recording, he reminds her that she initiated and started every single physical episode. And she doesn't deny it, and in fact confirms it by doubling down and mocking him with a whining voice, questioning if he's going to take the stand and say, "She started it." And she was banking on the fact that he is a man and bigger and stronger to convince a jury there's no way she could have hurt him. Again, insulting him with this whole "no one will believe you" phrasing. I mean, she sounds like a playground bully here, and let's just call this what it is. An abuser trying to discourage their victim from speaking up and telling the truth, from telling their side, by saying no one is going to believe you. After more blaming and verbal berating by Amber that Johnny and his team caused all of this, Johnny starts to stand up for himself a bit more.
You cannot think that it's just my side. You're fucking killing me. Your fucking people are trying to kill me. You've turned me into a... My boy has to go to school. My boy goes to school and has kids go, so your fucking dad's a wife beater? You don't think about that, Amber.
You don't think that's also my family and all the death threats that me and every single person in my immediate circle of friends and family is getting also matters? And you don't think I would. You think I would?
Death threats?
Your ex-husband is a famous actor, Johnny Depp. Did that affect your career?
Yeah, of course, it's still to this day, you know, is a constant threat to my safety, my family's safety.
Seriously?
Yes, of course.
You won't put this out. You didn't want this out. Why security come on the record and lie? Then, like, why go? That's a proactive measure. Then why did your divorce attorney get the file for divorce? Period. At all. Second, why did she have to go and get it from TMZ? Why, if you wanted it private, is TMZ being fed information literally by Laura Walker and Marty Singer every step of the way?
I received a copyright claim on 2 videos talking about this court evidence, but it's saying it's called Johnny Depp Goes Off on Amber Heard, and someone is claiming they own the copyright to this video. Want to see who says they own it? That's right. TMZ is saying they own it. How do they own the copyright if it wasn't sold to them? I have questions.
Video cannot be monetized. The ad revenue will be paid to a copyright owner. I go down here and look who the copyright owner is. TMZ. TMZ. So it appears that AH sold some of these videos to TMZ, although she says she didn't.
Well, really, my arrest record, what's next in the media? The rumors that I was a stripper? Of course I can expect that next. I've known every step of the way, every single step of the way, everything you'd give them. You don't think
I'd give them. That's it. I'd give them. I'll see you in court. No, I'll fucking see you in court. I will fucking see you in court. I never fucking said that. I never told anyone that. You fucking trusted me with that, and I've never fucking told anyone that. And you know what, Amber? This is me. This is me saying, I tried. And thank you, and I will see you in fucking court. You don't want to fucking make nice? I'm trying. But you know what? I loved you for so many fucking years, but you know what? You didn't exist. You don't exist. You're not there. You were a fucking made up thing in my head. And I can't believe you're doing this to me.
Stop.
Can't believe it.
There's no need to be cruel on top of it.
You've been nothing but cruel, and I'm going to court with you.
I'm sitting here defending myself, and it makes you so angry.
You have not let up. You keep blaming. No, what you just said. What you just said to me. You're defending yourself against me about something I didn't fucking do, and I'm not going to fight with you because I know this shit lasts forever.
I said I could expect it next. I am defending myself.
Excuse me, I'll be right.
I'm defending myself.
Excuse me.
I'm defending myself to you on the phone right now, and you're attacking me.
Excuse me, I'll be right back.
Things to me on top of it.
Can you give me 1 minute, please? May I have 1 minute, please? I'll be right back.
You know what? Good for him. There. I said it and I meant it. He got so tired of her blaming him for everything while also very publicly lying about what really happened in their relationship. You know, it's just sad when he clearly still cared and loved her for him to say she didn't exist. And notice how her tone completely changes. She thought she could keep intimidating him and verbally beating him down, and then the moment he was fed up and said, "That's it, I'll see you in court," she becomes much more concerned and timid in her tone. Funny how that works, isn't it? Also, she was a stripper. Okay, well, that's new information. I mean, whatever you gotta do, make your money. I'm not here to judge that at all. I'm just glad that when he realized he was getting heated, he did the right thing. And the very thing she hated most. He split. I'll keep the closing brief. Now, I'm not asking anyone to think their marriage wasn't toxic or that for many reasons it could have ended much sooner than this. Some of you might come away with this thinking, well, they're both terrible. I disagree. Some of you might be trying to cling to the idea that they were mutually abusive, and I can't stop you. I can just say again that I disagree. But even if you do still believe that, in spite of everything we know now, then that still means Amber Heard lied almost 4 years ago. Look, Johnny Depp isn't asking anyone to think he's perfect, but he has been begging for years for you to simply listen. Amber Heard abused Johnny Depp. There's no denying that now. She told him to go ahead and tell the world and that the world would never believe him. And I can only hope the world proves her wrong. Thank you. Hello. In it, Amber is caught lying about one of the many instances she abused Johnny Depp. They ask her about the instance, to which she clearly makes up a story as she goes, and it's obvious. Then they play a recording of Amber and Johnny discussing the incident and how it actually happened, and watch her struggle to rearrange her lies in a failed attempt to make them fit. I actually covered this in an earlier video, but now we don't just have the transcript, and you can really get a sense of her body language while weaving her lies as she smirks, mocks, eats, and eye rolls her way through it. If you recall, this is an incident in which Johnny was hiding from Amber in the bathroom, and she was banging on the door and trying to push her way into the bathroom to get to him. While trying to close the door to stop her from assaulting him, she claims that the door scraped her toes. When Johnny bent down to check on her, she kicked the door into his head, and then followed up with a punch to the jaw, all with no retaliation from Johnny. I'll be breaking it down, as always, adding context and important information, also adding clear audio as it's played back to her. Some things I really want you to focus on now that we know Amber was the actual abuser. 1. This deposition was less than 1 year after this audio of Amber confessing to be the violent and abusive one in their relationship. 2. Keep in mind that in this 2016 sworn deposition and in her 2019 sworn declaration in her motion to dismiss the defamation suit against her, she testified she only ever hit Johnny one time, not in self-defense, but because she thought Johnny was about to shove her sister. Of course, we know this to be a huge lie now. 3. Make note of her body language. Nodding in opposite directions from what she's hoping to convey with her words, fluttering her eyes, it's fascinating. Buying time and distracting by eating and hoping her counsel will step in and save her, which they do a lot. And then how angry and combative she becomes when she can't lie anymore and has to address the truth. And finally, notice how she basically takes Johnny's truth, the actual truth that he would defend himself and run away and seek safety from his abuser, and attempts to portray it as her own while making up a lie as she goes, even seemingly trying to convince herself she is being believable. This is a tactic she and her lawyers are attempting to publicly use now, stealing the truth of her victims and applying it to herself. Abusers do this often. It's called projection. Here we go.
The time is approximately 6:18 p.m. and we're back home.
And just a clarification, we're not going to invoke the Fifth Amendment privilege, so you can re-ask that question if you like.
Which question?
Did you commit domestic violence against Johnny Depp?
Any time prior to May 22nd, 2016, did you ever commit an act of domestic violence against Johnny Depp?
Calls for a legal conclusion and irrelevant, but go ahead.
Do you understand what I'm asking you?
No.
No?
Yes, I understand what you're asking me.
And prior to May 21, 2016, or May 22, 2016, is it your testimony that you never committed any act of what would be considered domestic violence against Mr. Depp?
Calls for a legal conclusion and irrelevant to these proceedings.
I did my best to defend myself and not get seriously hurt or be a doormat to whom this happens to all the time.
Isn't it true, Ms. Heard, that you previously confessed and apologized to Johnny Depp for committing domestic violence against him?
I'm going to object. Calls for a legal conclusion, argumentative, harassing.
Isn't it true that you had previously told Johnny Depp that you had hit him?
I'm going to object. It's a different question. It's vague and ambiguous, vague as to time.
Many times when we fought, well, not many times, he hit me for a very long time before I ever
I'm going to
picked up my
object as
arms.
non-responsive and move to strike. Ms. Heard, I'd like you to listen to what I'm about to play. Would you do that?
I then stood up. I don't even know if I said, I might have said like, what the fuck, you know, whatever, because I'd just been hit in the head with the fucking corner of the door.
I'm so sorry, I did not. I'm sorry.
And then I stood up.
Do you recognize the voices on that tape? Mm-hmm. And who are the people on that tape?
It's Johnny and I.
Okay. And is Johnny describing an act where you made a door go into his head?
Objection, harassing, argumentative, vague.
I was trying to escape from a room where Johnny was attacking me. And in order to escape, I was trying to get onto the other side of the door, attempting to close the door, and he was attempting to get in despite my attempts to try and escape an assault.
Isn't it true that on this tape that was just played, you tell Johnny Depp you're sorry?
Yes.
Okay.
And then you fucking clock.
I remember hitting you as a response to the door thing.
Did you just tell Johnny Depp in that recording that I remember hitting you as a response to the door thing?
Yes, as he was trying to get into the door, into the room, I was trying to escape in. He pushed the door into me, and I was trying to hit him by getting him out of the door to stay in the room.
And you told him in that tape recording that you hit him, correct?
I don't know what words I used in that. You can play it back if you want, but I don't remember exactly how long.
If you wouldn't mind, if you'll continue to listen.
Okay. And I'm really sorry about hitting you with the door, or hitting your head. I did.
Did you tell Johnny Depp at that time you were speaking to him that you were really sorry for hitting him with the door, hitting him?
I think in that recording I made it very clear that I was sorry that the door hit him while he was trying to get into the room I was escaping, or attempting to escape into.
Okay, I gotta jump in here a second. Is anyone buying this so far? She wanted to paint a picture that she was fleeing from Johnny when in fact it was the other way around. She's lying about what was just played to her on the tape. It's not clear at all that she was trying to escape because it's not on the tape. Does she really think she can convince people that something completely opposite happened? Does she believe it? I don't get it. Someone explain to me what appears to be a phenomenal level of denial and manipulation of the truth.
I will mark, excuse me. I'd like you to listen to the following tape. This is punched, and we need to have.
Are they being marked as exhibits?
Yeah, mark as exhibit.
We just marked P as the one we just played,
Okay.
correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And I have
Marking the next thing that I'm going to play to you as Q. Would you listen to this, please? This is punching.
It's one of
The
the
one that
right.
says punching.
Probably just a shitty lock. Anyway, I opened the bathroom door when you were knocking on it. After a few times I opened, and you just kept going. You just kept going. I tried to close the door 3 times. Please, just don't, and then wait, and then I accidentally, I swear, when I was trying to close the door, I guess it scraped your toes. I didn't mean to do that. And I bent down, and you either pushed or you kicked. I think you kicked the door open. The door, more open, so that it would hit me. And it hit me.
I didn't mean to. I didn't know
It
that.
hit me in the fucking head.
But I did not mean to do that. I don't know what you're
I
talking
was
about.
bent down behind the door.
I did not do anything to her. I did not kick a door or push a door so that it would hit you. I did not. I swear that it was not my intention. I think I remember when the door scraped my toes,
Okay. So you told him in that excerpt that you hit him with the door but did not intend to hit him, correct?
Recording speaks for itself.
Did you say that?
I said whatever I said in that recording. I
Okay.
don't. When you play it for me, it's hard for me to remember every single.
And that's a recording marked as exhibit the punching.
Q that we
Q.
just played.
Q. Would you continue to listen to Exhibit Q?
Are these from the same day?
I reacted, but the door thing, I remember, I never did that. That wasn't on purpose. I might have done it on accident.
Okay.
But
So let's say that was an accident. I then stood up. I don't even know if I said, I mean, I might have said, like, what the fuck? What, you know, whatever. Because I'd just been hit in the head with the fucking corner of the door.
I'm so sorry. I did not. I'm sorry.
And then I stood up. And then you fucking clocked me.
I remember hitting you as a response to the door thing. Mm. And I'm really sorry about hitting you with the door, or hitting your head. I did not mean to, nor...
You didn't mean to hit me in the head with the door, but you meant to punch me in the jaw.
I meant to hit you, and I did not do this thing with the door. I do remember, I did mean to hit you.
So that you didn't mean?
The door? No, God, no, I didn't.
But punching me in the jaw.
I didn't. Okay, I'm sorry.
So on the tape, you tell Johnny Depp that you did mean to hit him.
Objection. That's argumentative, and it misstates what the recording was.
And it also misrepresents what actually happened, which is him trying to get into a room I'm trying to keep him out of. And then he runs the door over my toes, trying to get into the room. I tried to push him out of it, which is what the hit is referred to. And Johnny, whenever he was injured or touched, it always referred to it in these ways of punching or clocked or whatever. And whether you discussed it with him or not, the last thing you do in talking to him afterwards or trying to reconcile with him is to get into what the definition of those words mean to him.
Just say what
So
happened.
I never even addressed it. He would, if he was ever pushed, it was a cold. He called it a cold clock. I mean, it was just very dramatic.
Isn't it?
Very dramatic? So she just scoffed, smirked, and rolled her eyes at the idea of Johnny complaining about her abusing him. Gee, this is starting to sound really familiar, isn't it?
And I lied!
And that you punched me in the fucking thing, and you
figured
in
it
the face,
out.
and you said, "No, fucking, no, I didn't. What the fuck are you talking about?" And I
didn't
watched
punch
you lie, and then
I
I
didn't punch you,
and
by
then
the way. I'm sorry that I didn't
punched
hit you across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. It was not punching you. Babe, you're not punched.
Don't tell me what it feels like to be punched.
You know, even a lot of fights have been around a long time. I know. Yeah,
No, when you fucking have a closed
You didn't
fist.
get punched. You got hit. I'm sorry I hit you like this, but I did not punch you. I did not fucking deck you. I fucking was hitting you.
You can't
I don't know
deck
what
me.
the motion of my actual hand was, but you're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you.
How are your toes?
What am I supposed to do? Do this?
How are your
I'm not
toes?
sitting here bitching about it, am I? You are.
Oh,
That's
you-
the difference
you
between
poor
me and
toes.
you. You're a fucking baby.
Because you start
You
physical
are
fights.
such a baby.
Because
Grow
you-
the fuck up.
Because you start
Johnny.
physical fights.
I did start a physical fight.
Yeah, you did. So I had to get the
Because-
fuck out of there.
Yes, you did. So you did the right thing, the big thing. You know what? You are admirable. Every single time. What's your excuse when there's not a physical fight? Then what's the excuse there? You're still being admirable, right? Just by running away.
Is it true, Ms. Heard, that in September of 2015, you punched Johnny Depp in the face with a closed fist?
I hit Johnny one time when he. Sorry. Oh wait.
No, you answer the question. Please stop whispering because it's distracting over here.
It's your team.
No, I was referring
No, these
to
two.
this actually.
I can't hear them. I hear them.
Can't hear them.
So please answer the question.
Yes or no, did you ever
No.
punch Johnny Depp with a closed fist in the history of your relationship with Johnny?
Answer it however you feel you wish to.
One time, Johnny was hitting me, and he was hitting me hard and repeatedly, and I was screaming. Security walks in, and they don't do anything about it. And he he makes this motion when Jerry Judge yells boss, or Sean, I can't remember who it was, and all we had was a little bit of separation, and my sister runs down the stairs. We're on a landing in between 2 flights of stairs.
Miss Heard, I must interrupt you,
can't.
because I've
can't.
asked you a yes
Then
or no question.
withdraw your question then, because
Miss
she's
Heard,
answering.
prior to today's date, have you ever hit Johnny Depp?
Answer it however you wish. You've already asked, and she's already answered, and you interrupted her.
Miss Heard, have you ever hit Johnny Depp prior to today?
Objection, Vegas to time.
Hey, everyone on this side of the room, please.
Objection 352. It's not relevant to the domestic violence proceeding.
Overruled.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Answer it however you want to, including the way you were just, if
I'm
you
asking
wish.
for a yes or no answer.
You don't have to answer it the way she wants you to answer it.
He was about to push my sister down the stairs. She was attempting to break us up. I am protective over my baby sister. When he laid hands on her, I don't know what I did, but I know I jumped in between the actions that I saw could lead to a fatal injury to my sister. She was standing on the top of a flight of the stairs, and she has never hurt anyone in her life, and she does not deserve to be pushed down the flight of stairs. And it looked like she was about to be. And I would have done what anybody who has a child or a sister would have done. I acted defensively in her life. I saw her standing on top of a flight of stairs and trying to interrupt a fight in between him and I. I don't know what part of my body I put in between me and him and her. But I would have done anything. I would have done anything to prevent her from being pushed down a flight of stairs.
So this is her harrowing story about the only time she hit Johnny. I repeat, she testified this story and incident was the only time she ever hit him. Look, we know just from this video and the audio recordings, that's a huge lie. She has hit him multiple times as he attempted to run away from her. The date was March 23rd, 2015. It was early morning. Johnny was still wearing a cast on his right hand and arm, as this was just a short 2 weeks after she had thrown a vodka bottle at him in Australia, slicing off the tip of his finger, and also burned his face with a cigarette. In Amber's testimony, she says Johnny was hitting her after he had toppled some of her clothing racks in Penthouse 5, which she had taken as her personal closet. After the alleged incident, the only evidence she submitted are text messages that Whitney sent to the estate manager Kevin Murphy, in which they seemed to be trying to get a reaction out of him while sending photos of the overturned clothing racks. As you recall, Amber couldn't remember which security member showed up, Sean or Jerry. Turns out she was wrong on both counts. It was Travis McGivern. You remember Travis. He's the one Johnny would text for protection from Amber in her audio confession, to which she had these things to say about him and Johnny.
After you fucking got physically violent with me, I texted Travis. I said, come up here, because I didn't want anything to happen.
I mean, yeah.
It's coming to what? Save me?
No, go ahead. Continue. You. Travis to the rescue.
No,
Right, you have something you're holding on to about Travis. Fucking go fuck. You know, go do it. Go run away together.
We'll talk to Travis.
I'm not fucking talking to nobody.
No,
fuck
because
that.
you
You go fucking jerk him off. I don't care. I really could care less.
Well, Travis has given testimony. He testified that on the morning of March 23rd, 2015, Johnny texted him to come to Penthouse 5 and bring the nurse Debbie, who works for Johnny. After arriving, they witnessed Johnny and Amber having a verbal argument over Amber's suspicions about Johnny's involvement with another woman. He also testified that Whitney was present, who has yet to give her side of these alleged events, as Amber has pretty much been doing all the speaking for most of her so-called witnesses. Travis testified that about 30 to 45 minutes into the argument, he witnessed Amber throw a can of Red Bull that hit Johnny in the back, and then she spit on him. She also threw her purse at Johnny, but Travis was able to deflect it midair. And then he testified about 10 minutes before he left with Johnny, Amber punched Johnny in his eye with a closed fist.
Good morning.
Could you please state your full name for the record?
Travis Edward McGivern. So when I came back from Australia, the arguments were pretty regular. Wouldn't say nightly, but every other night, several times a week, there would be arguments.
And what did you observe in the arguments that you personally witnessed?
So it was typically, I would come in, I'd get a text from Mr. Depp. I would go to penthouse 3, which is where they stayed. Either stay by the door as requested, or in the kitchen. And then, I mean, it was just verbal arguments, yelling. It was typically Mr. Depp wanting to get out of there. And so there was the trying to convince Ms. Heard to let us leave. And yeah, I mean, lots of name calling, lots of F-bombs, you know.
And who was the name calling directed at?
So that was typically Ms. Heard directing her feelings toward Mr. Depp.
And what do you recall Ms. Heard saying in those instances?
Oh dear. It would vary, and to be honest, I tried to not pay attention. I was just there to get Mr. Depp out of there, but you know, there were times I've heard Miss Heard call him a fucking deadbeat dad, if I can say that. I apologize to the court. If a fucking washed up, fucking cunt, you name it. She's spewed it.
How would you describe your own interactions with Ms. Heard in the time that you worked for Mr. Depp?
Objection, relevance.
All right, what's the relevance of his interactions?
His interactions when he was involved in when he was witnessing these altercations.
We don't ask that question.
Okay. How would you describe your interactions with Ms. Heard when you were present during an altercation between her and Mr. Depp?
For the most part, there wasn't really interaction. There were a few times where I was trying to get Mr. Depp away from the situation, and Miss Heard didn't like my involvement in the situation, and she, on one occasion, let me know how she felt about that.
And what did she say to you in that instance?
A lot. It was a lengthy, one-sided conversation. But she basically demeaned my career choice, called me a fucking yes man. And honestly, there were parts of that where she, you know, she was like, how would you feel if someone was involved in your relationship? Which I sympathize with. But yeah, she definitely threw some shade on me and my chosen career.
Now, you mentioned that the arguments between Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard increased after they returned from Australia. What arguments do you recall specifically?
One in particular stands out. March 23rd, a couple weeks after they got back, there was an incident in Penthouse 5 that I recall.
And when did you start your shift that day?
11 p.m. was typically my start time.
And where were you on your shift?
So at the loft, there was kind of a makeshift command post CP or guard shack or whatever it's called. That was in a storage room connected to Penthouse 5 via a patio. So you'd leave Penthouse 5, go to a patio, and then our CP was connected to that patio. That's typically where we hang out during our shifts.
And what time were you first contacted by Mr. Depp that evening?
Again, I can't say precisely, but between 4 and probably around 4 a.m., 4:30 maybe.
And what did you do after Mr. Depp contacted you?
So when he texted me, and I was downstairs. I don't remember exactly what I was doing, either getting some air, stretching my legs, or grabbing some food. But I remember getting the text. I wasn't in the CP when I got the text. He requested I meet him at Penthouse 5 and requested that I bring the nurse, his nurse that was working at that time with him.
What was her name?
Debbie Lloyd.
Okay. And so what did you go get Miss Lloyd?
I did. So Miss Lloyd was staying at a hotel close by, probably about a half block away. And being that I was already down there, I felt 4 in the morning, I wasn't gonna, and Mr. Depp wouldn't have wanted me to have her walk by herself. But I wasn't gonna go get the truck either, since I was down there already. So I walked over to the hotel. I believe I called the nurse just to make sure she woke up. And then I walked to the hotel and I met her there. We walked over together to the Eastern Columbia building. In the lobby, we ran into Miss Heard. She was at the front desk talking to security or concierge, I'm not sure who. Miss Lloyd stayed downstairs with Miss Heard. I proceeded upstairs to meet Mr. Depp at Penthouse 5 as requested. Was hoping to get him out of there before Miss Heard came back up, just because of past.
Sorry, why was that?
Just because past experiences, when they would argue, she would try to prevent us from leaving. To the point, I mean, she's held the elevator before. She's physically tried to keep Mr. Depp from leaving by grabbing his arm or standing in front of him. I just wanted to get out of there to avoid that.
And what happened when you got upstairs to the penthouse?
So Mr. Depp was sitting in front of the front door of Penthouse 5. He had some bags, I believe, like he was ready to go. I greeted him, kind of got a feel for what was going on, tried to get him out of there. As we were getting ready to leave, Miss Heard and Miss Lloyd exited the elevator on the penthouse level, so they came back up, and Mr. Depp and Miss Heard decided they wanted to continue whatever conversation they were having. So I let them into Penthouse 5. Myself, Miss Lloyd, Mr. Depp, and Miss Heard entered Penthouse 5. I tried to stay out of their conversations as long as they were peaceful. So they were having a relatively peaceful conversation. So Miss Lloyd and I stood outside the door Penthouse 5. Had the door propped open to make sure we could hear what was going on, but kind of giving them their space initially.
And you said initially, what happened after that?
So the conversation got a little louder, got a little more volatile. So Miss Lloyd and myself entered Penthouse 5 just to be around, to hopefully be able to not necessarily mediate, but just to be there. So yeah, entered, stood a little closer to Mr. Depp.
And what did you observe when you went back into the penthouse?
So the argument continued. There were moments of kind of normal conversation, peaceful conversation, but then there were also moments of yelling and anger from both of them. And at some point I witnessed Miss Heard throw a Red Bull can. So the loft is 3 levels. Mr. Depp was down at the lower level, which is the kitchen area. There's a middle level, which was turned into an office for Miss Heard. And then the upper level was where the bedrooms were, but they were turned into closets, basically, for Miss Heard at that time. Miss Heard and her sister at that time, Whitney, had come in. They were both on the middle level, the office level. And I saw Miss Heard throw a Red Bull can from her position that struck Mr. Depp in the back.
Anything else that you recall?
At that point, I moved closer to Mr. Depp. I didn't care that I was in the middle of their conversation at that point. I didn't want my client getting hit with anything else. So I stood right by Mr. Depp. The verbal onslaught continued from both of them. Mr. Depp was giving as good as he got at that point. He was angry and agitated. At one point, Miss Heard threw something else, either a purse or some sort of bag or something that she had up there. I was able to knock it away so it didn't hit him. At one point, she spit at him. Yeah, and then just a lot of verbal vitriol from both of them.
What do you remember Ms. Heard saying to Mr. Depp on this occasion?
Jeez. Anything and everything. Specifically, there was the "you're fucking washed up," "you're a fucking cunt," which he called her as well. You're, again, the deadbeat dad shit. Yeah, I don't even remember what the fight was about, but it was pretty. The F word is my favorite word, and it was being thrown around to the point where I was uncomfortable. So.
And how did Mr. Depp respond to Ms. Heard's behavior?
Oh, he was mad. He was upset, especially after she tried to spit on him. At one point, Miss Heard and her sister left Penthouse 5. I imagine they went into Penthouse 4 or possibly over to Penthouse 3. I don't know. They were all adjoining. Mr. Depp went upstairs and rearranged her closet for her, threw down probably every rack of clothing and shoes, threw at least one down the stairs. Yeah, he was upset.
Where was Miss Heard when Mr. Depp rearranged her closet, as you said?
Can't say for sure, but she was not in penthouse 5. She was either in 4 or 3.
And you mentioned Miss Heard's sister, Whitney. Do you recall when she arrived in the evening?
So Whitney wasn't there when we first all walked into penthouse 5. When Miss Lloyd and I stepped out to give them some space, she must have, excuse me, she must have come in at some point because she was in there when we walked back.
Did you see Miss Heard again that evening after Mr. Depp was in her closet?
I did, yeah. She must have heard what was going on and not been too pleased. So she shortly after re-entered penthouse 5 as I was trying to get Mr. Depp out of there.
And what happened at that point?
So her and her sister both came back in. We were on the middle level, so her office level of penthouse 5 at that point. She was agitated. Mr. Depp was agitated. I felt it was time to get Mr. Depp out of the situation, so I stepped in between Miss Heard and Mr. Depp, telling Mr. Depp that we were leaving and that it wasn't up to him anymore. At that point, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a fist and an arm come across my right shoulder, and I heard and saw a closed fist contact Mr. Depp in the left side of his face.
And whose fist was that?
That was Miss Heard's fist, Amber Heard's fist.
And where was Whitney when this occurred?
Can't say for sure, but I'm guessing, or my best guess is behind Amber.
How did Mr. Depp respond when he was punched?
The initial look on his face kind of mirrored mine, kind of a look of shock, like what just happened, where'd that come from? At that point, I wasn't going to let Mr. Depp get hit anymore, so I moved him down the last flight of stairs to the lower level, and told him we're leaving. It wasn't up to him anymore, just for his safety. I had let him get hit by a Red Bull can. I let him get punched.
I want to quickly close out with a few things. We now know Amber has lied on multiple platforms about the abuse she committed and severe injuries she inflicted on Johnny. But the most important of these is the fact that she did so on several occasions as sworn testimony. So if Amber was this willing to lie on such a grand scale nearly 4 years ago when she wasn't facing real consequences for her actions, as she was the one making the initial allegations, how much do you think she's willing to lie now? Now that she's facing a mountain of physical evidence, witness testimony, and real consequences. My guess is she'll say whatever she feels will get her out of all of this, no matter how twisted and cavernous the lie will be. Also, there's nothing even hinting that Amber's actions were a means of self-defense. There's just too much evidence and her own admission that says otherwise. She's hoping you'll believe some statistics about abuse, about powerful men, and ignore every ounce of truth staring us all in the face. She's taking the stories, emotions, and truths of her string of victims and hoping she can emulate them all enough to be believed, and while seemingly trying to convince herself of it as well. Recently in the UK, the judge presiding over Johnny Depp's defamation case against the Sun newspaper called a hearing to decide if the trial, originally set for March 23rd, would be postponed. Johnny's team was fine with this decision, given the current COVID-19 pandemic sweeping the globe. The Sun's team was not as understanding, using the caution being displayed to call Johnny a coward and saying that he just knows he'll lose. Throwing that caution to the wind, they said Amber would move heaven and earth to travel to the UK to give testimony, no matter the health concerns. By the way, California cases of COVID-19 are still climbing, making it at least the third or fourth highest confirmed cases by state in the US as of making this video. Also, if Amber is so eager to go to the UK to testify in the Sun's case, why is she continuing to try to have her own defamation case, actually here in the US, dismissed? Thankfully, as I began editing this video, it was finally denied. The Sun also said that she could give testimony via video call, and the judge thought that assessing key witnesses through all these different methods would be most undesirable, and I agree. I mean, did y'all see Amber struggle through this video of her 2016 testimony, eating and storytelling her way to not giving yes or no answers? I can only imagine if she were to hit a bump in answering questions through video call, it would be like... I actually want to use this video to debunk what the Sun said in this hearing. They've made a habit of using hearings to read aloud small portions of irrelevant text between Johnny and friends or family from various points in time to attempt to throw mud at Johnny, knowing that by reading these snippets aloud, they can skirt around the privacy of the UK court system and get the media to run with their sensational headlines. This time, they chose to focus on snippets that they believe prove Amber's allegations surrounding March 2015. They also added to Amber's previous allegations, but lied about events and even dates in doing so. I plan to prove them wrong using real evidence, testimony, and facts.